The air in the execution chamber at Ironwood State Prison was thick with a silence that pressed down on every breath. Jack, once the visionary CEO of a renowned tech empire, now stood stripped of everything but his last hope. In a matter of hours, a lethal injection would end his life for a crime he swore he didn't commit. His heart, however, wasn't fixated on the sterile walls or the cold steel of his final hours. It beat for one name, one face, Elena, his daughter. His final, agonizing plea was to see her one last time. The raw, heart-wrenching pain of a father facing his end, desperate for one last embrace with his child, was palpable. It was a universal fear of loss and separation, amplified by the stark, cold reality of a prison cell and the crushing weight of injustice. This moment captured the essence of what it meant to fight for life's most precious connections, even when all seemed lost. Consider, if only for a moment, what you'd fight for with your last breath. But as the world prepares for an execution, a quiet whisper of doubt begins to grow, questioning everything we thought we knew. Outside the confines of Jack's cell, a different kind of battle was brewing, fueled by a detective's gnawing suspicion. Detective Anton Delacqua, the lead investigator on Jack's case, was a man haunted by the conviction. 5 years had passed since the murder of Raymond Kincaid, and Jack, the charismatic tech titan, had been swiftly found guilty. The public had devoured the narrative of a cutthroat CEO driven by ambition and revenge. Yet, something always fell off to Delacqua, a subtle discord in the perfect symphony of evidence. He couldn't shake the feeling that a crucial piece was missing, or worse, deliberately hidden. Delacqua was a quiet hero, refusing to let a closed case truly rest. He'd spend late nights poring over old files, seeing shadows where others saw facts. He knew the system, trusted its processes, but he also understood human fallibility and the insidious nature of malice. His doubts weren't just gut feelings. They were rooted in years of experience, a sixth sense for inconsistencies that others dismissed. He was driven by an innate, almost stubborn, sense of justice, even when the system had already declared its verdict. He felt a nagging unease, a cold knot in his stomach, every time he thought of Jack Jackson on death row. Could he have made a mistake? Could someone else have manipulated the truth? The thought was unbearable. Determined to find answers, Delacqua took a risky, unconventional step. He contacted a data retrieval specialist, a ghost in the machine, known for unearthing digital footprints nobody knew existed. His instructions were simple. Find anything. Any hidden digital trails, any unusual financial movements, anything related to Raymond Kincaid that doesn't fit the public record. He suspected a setup, a carefully orchestrated frame-up designed to bring down the high-flying CEO. Every data packet, every hidden byte, could hold the key to a truth far more disturbing than anyone imagined. The tension in Delacqua's small, cluttered office was almost unbearable as he waited for the results. The ticking clock of Jack's execution amplified the urgency. He knew he was taking a professional risk, reopening a closed case, questioning the very foundations of a high-profile conviction. But the alternative, an innocent man's death, was simply unacceptable. How often do we truly question what lies beneath the surface? As Delacqua pursued his lonely quest for truth, miles away, a poignant reunion was about to unfold, catalyzed by the warden's unexpected compassion. The meeting between Jack and Elena was an emotional maelstrom. In the stark visiting room, stripped of any pretense of comfort, Jack saw his daughter, a young woman he'd watched grow from behind a glass partition, now facing the ultimate loss. Elena's eyes, red-rimmed but defiant, met his, reflecting the love and pain that transcended the prison walls. He held her close, feeling the fragile warmth of her embrace, a warmth he believed he would never feel again. Every whispered word, every shared memory felt like a precious, fleeting glimpse of a life being stolen. He shared stories of his childhood, their favorite vacations, trying to etch happiness in her memory, not sorrow. He spoke of his love for her, how she was his light, his reason. She clung to him, sobbing silently, her small body trembling with grief. This was their goodbye, or so they thought. It was during these heart-wrenching final moments that a sliver of hope, unexpected and almost miraculous, pierced through the despair. Suddenly, the door to the visiting room swung open. Detective Delacroix stood there, his face etched with a mixture of exhaustion and urgency. He caught Warden Batista's eye, a silent communication passing between them. Delacroix didn't waste a second. He shared the bombshell. His contact had uncovered massive, suspicious sums of money moving through Concade's accounts. Funds that looked eerily like hush money, or payoffs tied to a sophisticated frame-up. The sheer scale and secrecy of these transactions screamed foul play, painting a completely different picture of Concade's life and death. Warden Batista, a man of rigid protocol but also deep integrity, felt a jolt. This wasn't just a hunch. This was concrete financial data. Without hesitation, he grabbed a phone, his voice a low, urgent murmur as he spoke to the governor's office. The tension in the room was electric, palpable. Jack and Elena watched, bewildered, as the warden fought for time, his words sharp, insistent. "Governor, we have new, credible evidence. This man's execution must be postponed. Just 2 hours. 2 hours to investigate." The silence that followed was deafening, stretching into an eternity. Then, a sharp exhale from the warden. "Thank you, Governor. 2 hours." The news hit Jack like a physical blow, a sudden, fragile possibility of reprieve. He felt Elena stiffen in his arms, her eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and a rekindled, desperate hope. The roller coaster of emotions was dizzying, from the depths of goodbye to the sudden, fragile possibility of a second chance. What would you do with a second chance, even if it's just for a few hours? This small win was a miracle, a desperate gamble, but enough to shift the very air in the prison. The clock was still ticking, but now, armed with a fragile hope, the true battle for Jack's innocence could begin, revealing secrets buried deep within the system. With the 2-hour reprieve hanging precariously, Detective Delacroix plunged back into the investigation, driven by a new urgency. He knew this was his only shot. He went straight to the dusty archives, specifically requesting all forensic reports on the Concade murder, not just the ones presented at trial. His persistence paid off. Tucked away, deliberately misfiled, he found it. A second crime scene forensic analysis report, pristine and never submitted as evidence. This wasn't just a technicality. It was a bombshell. The report detailed crucial, ignored facts. Unaccounted for footprints at the scene that didn't match Jack's or Concade's. Clear signs of forced entry despite the official story of a consensual meeting, and most damningly, traces of gunpowder residue on Concade's clothes that suggested a closer, struggle-oriented shooting than the prosecution had claimed. These details didn't just contradict the prosecution's narrative. They utterly demolished it, painting a picture of a staged murder, not a heated confrontation. This was the aha moment Delacroix had been searching for, the undeniable proof of a conspiracy. Armed with this irrefutable evidence, Delacroix confronted Assistant District Attorney Thomas Yerger, the very man who had prosecuted Jack's case and built his career on that conviction. Yerger, initially resistant, then defensive, finally crumbled under the weight of the undeniable facts. The profound shock and betrayal of discovering systemic corruption and hidden truths etched lines of anguish on his face. He saw not only the gross injustice that had been done, but also the devastating implications for his own career and the integrity of the justice system if an innocent man were executed on his watch. Yerger, a man who believed in the law, even as he had, perhaps unknowingly, become a part of its perversion, made a difficult choice. He began to cooperate with Delacroix, understanding that his only path to redemption was to expose the truth. The moral dilemma he faced was immense, but the courage to admit such a grave error was a testament to the human capacity for redemption. This segment built tension as the pieces of the conspiracy rapidly fell into place, revealing the true depth of the injustice. The conspiracy, now exposed, pointed not to a spontaneous act of violence, but to a cold, calculated frame-up designed to destroy Jack Jackson. What injustices might be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered? With the truth finally laid bare, the final act of this gripping drama played out in a courtroom, where justice hung precariously in the balance. The emergency hearing was swift and stark. In a packed courtroom, bathed in the harsh glow of television lights, Assistant District Attorney Thomas Yerger stood before Judge Alvarez. His voice, usually confident and resonant, was now tinged with a solemn gravitas as he conceded that Jack's conviction no longer stood on solid ground. He presented the newly discovered forensic report, the suspicious financial trails, and the confession of a key witness. The silence in the room was absolute, broken only by the click of cameras and the soft murmur of whispers. Judge Alvarez, after reviewing the overwhelming new evidence, didn't hesitate. With a firm, clear voice, she granted the motion to vacate the conviction. Jack Jackson was a free man. Emerging from the courthouse, Jack was met not by the blinding flash of cameras and aggressive reporters, but by a single, familiar face, Elena. She rushed into his arms, their reunion a powerful, overwhelming embrace of family, tears of joy streaming down their faces. The cathartic release of a long-awaited victory was palpable, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The aftermath moved swiftly. Walton Green, a notorious fixer connected to Concade, was arrested and, under intense questioning, confessed to staging the murder scene and meticulously framing Jack. His confession implicated 3 wealthy businessmen involved in a lucrative real estate empire, men who saw Jack as an obstacle to their ambitions. They were arrested, and investigations were immediately launched against several corrupt officials suspected of suppressing evidence. Jack, Elena, and his tech company team began the challenging process of rebuilding, but their focus shifted. They visited Redwood Creek, a serene, sun-dappled stream where Jack and Elena had often dreamed of building a future. It was a place that symbolized their past dreams, and now, the promise of new ones. Jack found a profound sense of peace and a quiet hope for the future, with Elena by his side. He also found a new purpose. Having walked the precipice of injustice, he dedicated himself to helping others wrongfully convicted, using his experience and resources to fight for those still trapped in the shadows. This narrative delivers a powerful emotional payoff, emphasizing the enduring power of love and justice. It leaves the audience with a sense of hope and belief in the possibility of overcoming immense adversity. This story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, truth can prevail and hope can light the way. If you were moved by Jack's journey and believe in the power of fighting for what's right, subscribe to our channel for more stories of resilience, justice, and the unwavering human spirit. Share this video to spread awareness about wrongful convictions and the importance of never giving up. What part of Jack's story resonated most with you? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, sometimes the greatest battles are fought not with fists, but with unwavering faith.